This video is going to tell you why the DJI OSMO Pocket 3 is better than you think. Now, how do I know what you think? Well, I don't know what you think, but you did click on this video, right? More than likely, your question is the DJI OSMO Pocket 3 good enough? Well, yes, it is. More than likely, it's better than you. So before we get started, I just want to clarify something. DJI did send me this OSMO Pocket 3, and they sent me the whole kit with the microphone, the battery, and all of that stuff, which I'll go over. And they also gave me $40,000, and they told me to only say good things about it. No, I'm just playing. That's not true. They did send this to me for free, but they just told me to make a review on it, and I'm going to give you my honest opinion, which is what I always do here on this channel. So there's no reason to be afraid. So more than likely, you have watched all the DJI OSMO Pocket 3 videos till your heart has been content, or not content, because that's why you're watching this video too, because you're still not sure if you should get this thing and if it's worth it. So what I'm going to try to do with this video is to answer all of those questions and give you a real world view on this camera. Now, there are a lot of channels out there that will tell you a bunch of different things. You hear things like, this is the best camera in the world, this is the worst camera in the world. I bought one of these things and it was trash. Or I bought one of these and I'm telling you why you shouldn't buy one. And then you watch it and they say, oh, you should actually buy two because yeah. So I'm not gonna try to confuse you with this video. I'm just gonna tell you straight up what it is and how to get the best out of it. And a lot of these things are true with any camera. Now, if you have never seen this channel before, this channel features a lot of ZV E10 content. And the reason that it features a lot of that content is because I believe that is a great camera. I've taken that camera on trips with me, on cruises out of the country. I've flown it through airports. What are you talking about? Not flown it through the airport. That doesn't make sense. I've flown with it, had it in the airport, all that kind of stuff. So it has a lot of miles on it, frequent flyer miles. And I spent a lot of time with that camera. So I know it pretty well. So I'm going to put it against the DJI OSMO Pocket 3 and show you that this camera is good enough and in a lot of cases better than the Sony ZV E10. Now, before you start getting crazy,
I hate this guy. He's just like every other YouTuber.
And thinking that I'm abandoning the ZV E10, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm going to show you that technology is moving so quickly that this may be a replacement for your Sony ZV E10, or at least another camera that you can get or your next upgrade. So let's get into it. So let's get into it. What is the DJI OSMO Pocket 3? Well, it's a camera from DJI that features a 1-inch sensor that helps in low light and it keeps the noise down. Now, if you don't know what those things are, I'm going to explain it really quickly. So this is a sensor. This is the Sony ZV E10. You see that little green thing in there? Well, that's a sensor. And that thing is the same thing that's inside the DJI OSMO Pocket 3. Now, it's not the exact same sensor, but it's a sensor. And that sensor is what captures light. And that's what gives you the ability to have a picture. Now, the larger the sensor is, the more light that it can gather, and the better it's going to do in low light situations, and it's going to give you less noise in most cases. This video is not to just make you buy this thing, but it's to help you understand how to get better at whatever camera you have, because these things can be applied to any camera. So when you're talking about low light situations, what that doesn't mean is no light situations. A no light situation means you have no light at all. Like it's pitch black, or maybe you have some lights way off in the distance and you want that to light you. Unless you have a really expensive camera and a really good lens, I mean, I'm talking about tens of thousands of dollars, then you're not gonna be able to shoot in darkness. You're gonna have to use some light. And most of the time you're gonna either have to carry a light with you or know how to light in certain situations. Now, if you're not recording yourself and you're recording other things and it's a dark environment, the biggest thing that I can tell you is to expose for the highlights.
Well, what does that mean?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Exposing for the highlights means the brightest thing in your scene or in your picture, you are going to expose for that, which means you don't want it to be overexposed, and you don't want it to be underexposed. When you expose for the brightest thing in your scene, typically you're going to lower your ISO. and that's going to give you lower or less noise because that noise that's there isn't going to be amplified as much. Now, if all of this stuff seems foreign to you, then I'm going to post a video here. It's going to give you a little bit more insight into how to shoot in low light scenarios. But again, this is for every camera. So with your DJI, some of the settings you're going to want to use is going to be your ISO and your shutter speed. These two are going to help you control how much light the camera is actually capturing. Now, this camera has a fixed aperture of 2.0, so that means you're not really going to be able to change it. However, you can change your ISO and you can change your shutter speed. So those are two things that you're going to want to look into. Now, another thing about the sensor is it does capture 4K, which is what you're looking at now, and it can shoot up to 120 frames per second in 4K. Another feature that this camera has is something called glowing complexion and glamour effects. Now, this is not something personally that I would use because I like to do my stuff post. So if I'm going to fix colors and things like that, I'm going to do that in DaVinci Resolve. But if you're a person where you don't have the time or the skill, or you don't want to mess with all that stuff, then you can just use this glamour feature to make yourself look different. And I'm going to show you what that looks like really quickly. In order to get the glamour effect to work, you have to use your phone, and you're going to be using the DJI Mimo app. So the first thing you do is go into your DJI Osmo settings, and you're going to enable the glamour effect. So you'll turn that to on. Once you do that, then you'll launch your app, the DJI Mimo app. And once you come inside, you're going to see this little icon here that says on. Then you tap it. This is something that took me a minute to figure out, but I got it. So you have to set up your glamour effects first before you press record, unless you can't change them while it's live. So what you're going to do is you're going to go into here, and once you go in, you see you have these options. You have skin smooth, you have brighten, you have slim, you have eyes, dark circles, nose, mouth, teeth, lipstick, blush, and brows or eyebrows. So let's say I want to smooth out my skin. So it looks like I've already turned this on. So I'm gonna go down with it so you can see. So if you just look at my forehead, you see that it's smooth. Now it's not. It's smooth. Now it's not. So let's turn that all the way up and smooth it. Then brighten. Let's brighten up my face. Oops, brighten. Let's brighten up my face. Okay, you can see that. You see, I look almost like I have no melanin in my skin when I do that. So let's do that. Slim. Watch my chin here, the bottom half of my face. You see that? Let's make that as slim as possible. And then let's look at the eyes. And this is weird because it just makes your eyes really big. So let's leave my eyes big like this. And then dark circles, if you have dark circles, I guess that'll remove it. So let's just turn that all the way up. And then nose, you can make it slim or wide. So let's do a wide nose. I like a wide nose. Then mouth, you have the option to go wide or small. So let's do full lips. And then teeth. It's not white, now they're white. Not white, now they're white. You see that? You see the difference? You see my teeth there? It's white and now white. All right, then lipstick, I'm good on that. Let's just see what it looks like. That's okay, yeah. Blush. You see my cheeks. It looks like I've been outside and it's cold. And then my eyebrows, it can turn those really black. You see that? So this is what you look like when you use the glamour effect. So now, if you want to record that, then you go ahead and press the record button. And now I am recording, and this is how I really look, guys. Can't you tell? I look normal. This is how I actually look in real life. So yes, welcome to my podcast. And on this podcast, I'm talking about authenticity and how to feel good about who you really are. On this podcast, all we do is talk about the truth because we live the truth.
That's all we do, nothing else.
Okay. The next thing that the Osmo has are these different shooting modes. You have D-Log M, Rec 709, and HLG. D-Log and HLG just means that your camera can shoot in a wider dynamic range. Well, what is dynamic range? I'm gonna show you on another video in detail what dynamic range is, but in a nutshell, it's your camera's ability to capture the brightest and the darkest scene in camera at the same time. The more dynamic range you have, the better you can have those transitions between light and dark in the same scene. Now, when you shoot in log, it allows you to get more dynamic range so that later you can come back and you can pull out your shadows and reduce your highlights and things like that. And it preserves certain parts of your picture so that you can get a more cinematic or more colorful look out of it. Now, if you're not into that sort of thing, then you don't have to worry about it, but it is there if you want to use it. Now, the other thing is 10-bit. Now, if you don't know what 10-bit means, 10-bit just has to do with the color depth and how many colors your DJI OSMO Pocket 3 can reproduce, which is right around 1 billion. And the benefits of this is that you have more color options to change colors from one color to the next. What this also does is gives you a smooth transition between colors on screen. It's a lot to it. So I'm just going to reference a video that you can watch. I never know what side it's on. I think it's this side, the left side. But I'm going to put this video here and it's going to explain to you what 10-bit footage is and if it matters or not. But if you don't want to use it, you don't have to, but just know that it is an option that you have on the DJI OSMO Pocket 3. Moving right along.
Right now, I'm walking through these branches and leaves and acorns. Ooh, and look at this grass. It's pretty green, but yeah. See those green benches over there? You can see the cameraman right there. That's my dad. We're gonna see him. So excited. Right now we're going.
All right, so this is what many people are wondering. See, you can see how I'm walking right now, and I'm not trying to be careful. I'm just walking with this gimbal out in front of me. This is showing you the stability right out of the box. So this is really gonna depend on how you walk, and hopefully it's smooth. And just so you can see what I look like, this is what I look like walking. I'm not trying to do anything fancy. I'm literally just holding it out maybe 6 inches in front of me and I'm walking. And that's pretty much it. Excuse me. So vlogging should be one of those things where it's really easy to do. You shouldn't have to go through a bunch of rigmarole. You should be able to use both your hands. I got my phone in one hand, but you know, you should be able to almost just move around and do things like you would typically without there being hey, how you doing? Problems and obstacles in the way, you know? That's the way it should be. This really makes things easy to vlog. I mean, it's not a problem at all. It's very simple. And literally all you have to do is just clamp this thing, set it up, and boom, you're ready to go. It doesn't require much at all, to be honest with you. And I think the OSMO Pocket 3 makes it really easy to do that. I will say though, one thing about this Osmo is it attracts a lot, and I mean a ton of attention. People look at this thing and they just want it. Like, they want to know what it is and they want to understand it, and you get stopped all the time. So be prepared for that. I don't know how long that's going to last. Maybe when more people start to see it, it becomes a common thing, but I don't think this thing is going away anytime soon. I think this is going to become probably the vlogging standard. I don't even have to look at it. I know Casey Neistat, if you know who he is, he was like an OG, one of the OG YouTubers who started it all, like the daily vlog and stuff. And he used to wear a pair of sunglasses. And I always used to wonder why, until on one of the episodes, he talked about why. And the reason why is because he always had to look at the camera to check the focus to make sure that it was on him. And this was before the days of tracking and all of the stuff that you have now with like the DJI OSMO Pocket 3. But because we have that now, I mean, he probably would wear the glasses just for nostalgic sake, but he wouldn't really need to anymore because his face is always going to be in frame. It's always going to be in focus. So I think that's just a nod to technology and how it's changing literally the world that we live in and how we do things, especially when it comes to social media. So I wish I could show you I wish I could show you guys some of the faces of people here, because it would really make you laugh if you just saw some of the faces here and the people when they see the camera and they just see it sitting there. It's like, it's a weird, it's interesting.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't want to invade people's privacy, but it is interesting to see the looks when they see this thing clamped to the car. Like I said, I do got to get you guys some footage so you can see. So let me do that real quick. So this is what it's like when you have the DJI strapped to the cart. It's not that big. People who aren't observant aren't gonna notice it, but those who are, they're gonna notice it and they're gonna look at it and wonder what it is. So that's what that is. So what do you get when you buy the Osmo Pocket 3? Well, there are 4 different versions that you can buy. The first one is just the Osmo Pocket 3, which comes with the camera, the protective cover, and the handle with the 1/4-20 thread. There is a built-in battery in this camera, so you don't have to worry about an extra battery. So just in case you were wondering. Now with that handle with the 1/4-20 thread, what that allows you to do is you can charge it from the back, and then you can also connect the handle to different things like tripod mounts, or something like the Smallrig super clamp that I had earlier in the video that you saw on the shopping cart. Now I'll put all of that stuff in the description below. Now the second option you have is the Osmo Pocket 3 Creator Combo, which is the one that I have. Now the Creator Combo comes with the camera itself, the DJI Mic 2 transmitter, the battery handle, a mini tripod, a carrying bag, and a wide angle lens. Now the bag that comes with this is a really nice bag and you could fit everything in it. However, I decided to get a different bag and different carrying case because I did buy some additional accessories. But keep in mind that you do get these things when you buy the Creator Combo. The last one is the Osmo Pocket 3 Vlog Combo. You get the camera itself, which is the Osmo Pocket 3. You get one receiver, which is the DJI 2 mic receiver, and then you get the DJI Mic 2 transmitters, but you get 2 of those actually, and then you get the DJI Mic 2 charging case. So the question probably is, which one should you buy? I'm gonna say go with the Osmo Pocket 3 Creator Combo, especially if you're gonna be doing social media and things like YouTube, or even if you're gonna be using it for family trips. And the reason why is because you get everything you need. You get the camera, the extra battery, you get the extra little handle, you get the tripod, you get the DJI Mic 2 with the magnet, you get the wide angle lens, you get the dead cat that goes on top of your microphone, you have the charging cable, you have the carrying case, and then you also have the protective case. So this is pretty much everything you need to get started, except you're gonna need to buy an SD card. And those are pretty cheap. So I definitely recommend going with this one.
So I'm here on a cruise. I am on the Royal Caribbean Allure of the Seas. It's a pretty big ship and there's a lot of stuff to do here. But I also want to just tell you guys about what it's like to actually take the ZV E10, which is what I'm shooting on right now, to actually just shoot with. But if you're gonna be taking a vacation and you want a camera that's really high quality that you can take with you, the ZV E10 is a great camera. However, I just want you to think about this from a different aspect. For some reason, in the camera world, everything has become about specs and picture quality. But the reality of it is, picture quality does not trump creativity and portability, at least in my opinion. And I've been using these Sony APS-C cameras for some years now. I shot weddings on them, events, portraits, all kinds of things, professionally and just for myself. And they get the job done. And I haven't had any quality complaints ever, even in low light. But for some reason, low light and picture quality has become the standard by which we measure every camera. But I want to say to you that that is false. Now, the ZV E10 is a great camera, like I said, to take with you when you travel, because it does allow you the ability to keep it portable and keep it small. Now, one thing the ZV E10 struggles with is its size. Now, you may be thinking, wait a minute, this camera is already small, smaller than the FX30, the FX3, and any of the other cameras, even like the A6700, that you may want to take with you on your vacation. But again, I think that creativity and portability are bigger than everything.
Here's the part of the video where we compare the Sony ZV E10 to the DJI OSMO Pocket 3, but it's not what you expect. I could go through a bunch of specs, talk about sensor size, battery life, all of that kind of stuff, but I don't think that would actually help you make a wise decision. And plus, there's 1,000 other videos online with those comparison videos. Again, I'm not here to sell you anything per se, but I want you to get the best for your money. Personally, here are my beliefs, having spent some time with both these cameras. If you are trying to create content for online consumption, whether it be YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, those sort of things, you are going to want a camera that is portable, a camera that boots up quickly, that sets up easily, and that you can just record with without a bunch of thought that goes into it. Both these cameras are great cameras when it comes to picture quality and things like that. One is not way superior than the other. I will say that there is a slight advantage that each one has over the other when it comes to picture quality, but I think it kind of balances out. So I'm not gonna get too deep into that. Here is my honest opinion. If you're gonna be doing social media, especially things like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, you need a camera that is going to be with you. You're not gonna take a camera that's big. You're not gonna take a camera that requires a lot of setup or a lot of different things to get it to go. You want something that's really sleek, that's small, that literally can fit in your pocket. Because here's the thing, if you've ever created before, if you've ever traveled before, you know that life still happens. You can't exit out of life to start making content. Making content is a part of life, and you still have to live inside life when you're creating. That means you're gonna have to do things like go to the bathroom. That means sometimes you may be in a different country where you're not familiar with the surroundings. You don't wanna just have this huge camera out that somebody may come and take from you, or you may lose it. You don't wanna have a bunch of expensive stuff in a hotel room where they come in and then it comes up missing. All of these things you have to worry about when you think about creating. And if you haven't thought about that yet, it's just a matter of time. Just look at the amount of people that are talking about how their gear got stolen. When you have a lot of gear, when you have big gear, when you have these big cases and big lights and all these different accessories, and I'm not saying you don't need them sometimes, but when you have them, you also carry a lot more risk with you. You have a lot more on the line when you're carrying all this stuff, and you have more to think about instead of focusing on what it is that you're creating. And the DJI OSMO Pocket 3 literally almost takes all of that away. You could take some accessories like a few extra batteries and they can literally fit in your pocket. Or if you wanted to take more SD cards, they can fit in your pocket. You can take everything you need literally and put it in your pocket, from this microphone here to the whole camera itself, some batteries, and a case for it all to go in your pocket. It's really possible. So again, when in terms of creating content, this has it all. The stability is there because it is a gimbal with a camera on it. The sound quality is there. These microphones are built to go with this, so you don't have to do a lot of research and trying to figure out. It has 32-bit float, which means that you can get loud and you can get soft, and you don't have to worry about your audio being destroyed. There's a lot of no-brainers with this thing. You don't have to think about creation. All you do is talk. All you do is do whatever it is behind the camera that you want to do. In addition to that, the DJI also does offer you, if you're more advanced, things that you could do where you could shoot in log, where you can do other things. Yes, it's 10-bit 420, but again, without getting all into specs, you saw what we were able to do here. You can see some other YouTubers that have done some amazing stuff with this camera, and you can as well. But I'm gonna tell you, it's not specifically and strictly about the camera. It's about you taking the time to build your skills, to understand how ISO, all these things work, and how to tell a story that can captivate people's attention. So that's my recommendation. I think the Osmo is the winner over the ZV E10, hands down when it comes to creation. No questions asked, not even a thing. Let me know what you guys think below. I'm sure some people are gonna disagree, but I would like to hear your rebuttal, and I would like to hear your stance on this thing. Is this something that you would buy yourself? Let me know in the comments below. But until next time, I'll holler at y'all later. I'm out. Peace.